Invincible versus.
That's a good intro to Invincible.
Yeah,
honestly.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. They did exactly what they did in the showcase as well. You got to play it, this fighting game from Skybound Games, their new developer, Quarter Up.
Quarter Up.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
3v3 tag fighting game set in the Invincible universe. How long did you get to play, and what did you think?
So about 3 weeks ago, I got to go down to the animation studio where they animate Invincible. And I was there for about an hour. The first half was them showing us the trailer and then presenting the game to us and talking about it. And then I got to spend about 30 minutes with my hands on the sticks. And it was me and a developer, and I was playing, and he was telling me certain things, like how certain mechanics work. And
Question
all that
for
stuff.
you real quick.
What up?
Your hands on the sticks. At
Yes.
this point, Blessing Adeoye Jr., 2025.
Yes.
Fighting games are back, bigger and better than ever.
Amen.
Are sticks actual arcade fighting sticks, or are you still on the controller?
I'm still on the controller. I'm still on the controller, right? Like for me, it's I have multiple fighting sticks. I even have on my desk a not a hitbox but a leverless fighting stick that I have there just for
aesthetics.
Just for aesthetics, honestly. Like I really tried with the stick. I just can't
I'm
do
part
it.
of the culture, but
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I'm part of the culture, but like I'm using a controller because that's what I'm used to, and that's what I'm gonna kick ass with. And so yeah, they gave me I think it was an Xbox controller, honestly. But I went down 3 weeks ago. I walk into the animation studio. I looked around and I was like, huh. So this is where y'all be taking forever at. This is where y'all be taking your sweet time, making Invincible season 3 or 4 or whatever on right now. So I got to play 30 minutes. And Greg, I'm curious because it sounds like you got to check it out too.
Yeah.
Did you play it?
Yep.
Hell yeah. I can't wait to talk to you about that. I have a lot of takeaways. So we saw this a couple of days ago. It was revealed at the Xbox Showcase on Sunday, and then the studio got a press release on Monday kind of breaking down a little bit about Quarter Up. At that reveal, I think all of us were kind of trepidatious about, all right, like, we're seeing this after the Marvel fighting game was announced. Oh, we got 2x scale. Oh, man, it seems kind of like a crowded space. Oh, this is an original studio under Skybound. Now that I can actually talk about this freely, my main takeaway from my preview is that, one, this game is early. The studio started in 2023 and playing the game and getting my hands on it, right? Feels kind of early. This game might be niche compared to a Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, but I do think that this game will find its place. I think this game, from my limited time with it, was very fun to play. I like it visually. I like it conceptually. I totally understand the concern around Invincible as an IP. Is there enough meat there to garner a community of like a fighting game based community? Is this the right direction? I think it is. I think that with the characters you have here and the team you have working on it, that's the place to start with it. Because this is Quarter Up Studios. Like I mentioned, they started in 2023. This studio is majority made up of people that worked on Killer Instinct 2013, which was the Xbox One launch Killer Instinct. That studio went on to be taken by Amazon, and the development for that game
taken. Help! Shut up, get in the car.
But yeah, and the development for that game got passed on to Iron Galaxy, and they saw it through post-launch updates and all that stuff. And so Amazon ended up adopting that studio, having them work on their internal games, and a lot of the people that worked at that studio ended up leaving, right? And this game was pitched to Skybound from people originally from that studio, higher ups from that studio, that were like, yo, we want to make an Invincible fighting game. And so this is coming from people who want to make this game, right? This isn't a Skybound, we want to make a fighting game, let's search out some people, let's do this. No, this is people who are, I would describe as fighting game sickos. Like, one of the first things I heard when I walked in were like the studio heads, they were like, chilling, waiting for everybody to get there for the presentation, because they're like doing it in groups of 4 media people at a time. And they're sitting around like the donuts and food that were there, and they were talking about Marvel vs. Capcom as soon as I got there. They were already talking about other fighting games and shit and getting real nerdy about it, which had me excited. But this is a 3v3 tag fighter, slated for 2026. It's on everything. And talking more about my takeaways from it, of playing it. It is colorful. It is vibrant. It is very violent, which I like. And it feels like a meld of certain things picked from certain other fighting games, right? You got the 3v3 from Marvel vs. Capcom. You got the superhero sort of feel in combat of something I'd say like an Injustice. And then you also have, the violence of a Mortal Kombat minus the fatalities, right? But you do have essentially brutalities where there are certain ways that you end matches that'll explode somebody's head or explode somebody into a million pieces.
I was like, do you have fatalities? They're like, no, you're just going to punch him to death.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
yeah,
cool.
exactly. They also have custom intros for certain characters where you'll enter a fight and it is Mark saying something to Omni-Man. In the build that I played, they only had 4 characters. They had Mark, they had Adam Eve, they had Thula, who's one of the Viltrumites, and then they had Bulletproof.
Exact same build I had.
Cool, yeah. And then one of the questions I asked was, how many characters are we looking at?
Exact same question I asked.
I literally counted the character slots, and there were 17 character slots. But when I asked them, they were like, "Hey, we're still figuring that out. We want to that's one of the things that we're still working on for launch is seeing what characters we can get in there." And one of the other questions I asked was, "What is the challenge of making a game that has a lot of people that are just very strong Superman style heroes?"
Right.
And they talked about how they were looking at certain character qualities and character aspects and making them feel original. Mark, for example, is like a straight up brawler, right? Very physical character. You have Adam Eve, who is very projectile based. Thula, though, is mid range because she has like that long ponytail that she'll use to like kind of like almost like a scorpion style throw at you to pull you in sort of thing.
Bianca Belair.
Yeah, she has the Bianca Belair.
Little whip action.
Yeah, so they balance that a lot as far as how they're approaching these different characters. But one of the things I really liked as well was the tag format, where I'm like, all right, cool. I'm using those 3 because I'm not really a bulletproof guy.
You're not?
No, yeah, but like in getting my hands on it, right? It is pretty simple to control. You have your light, medium, heavy, but then you also have a tag button and you have a special button. Specials are work kind of like in Smash Brothers, where you press a direction and you press A, and it's using a special, right? They wanted to develop this game to be friendly for casual players, newcomers, all that stuff, but then also they described it as a tournament quality, brutal fighting game. And they didn't really name drop Evo as much, but they made it seem like, yo, we want this game to show up at Evo. We want this game to show up at those spots. And in a lot of ways, in that way, it feels like a Dragon Ball FighterZ, where Dragon Ball FighterZ had the auto combos. Dragon Ball FighterZ had the easy special moves to do. Dragon Ball FighterZ, I forget if Dragon Ball FighterZ did this, but this game has like if you hold your tag button while doing a combo, it'll automatically tag out and continue your combo with the player that you tag in, right? Like, this game controls the way that you'd want it to control for a 3v3 tag game, and I had a lot of fun with it.
This episode's brought to you by X-Reel. Y'all know that a few months ago, my life changed forever when I brought a pair of X-Reel 1 AR glasses on a long flight to New York. I legit could not believe how easy it is to use and high quality my experience was playing games, watching movies, TV shows on the plane without just too much extra stuff around me, or especially not a giant goofy headset around my head. No joke, this is my favorite new tech product in years, and it has earned a permanent spot in my travel bag. It is only hard to believe that it works as well as I'm saying until you try X-Reel 1 AR glasses for yourself. And then you will see that the future is now. The tech is here. Connect X-Reel 1 glasses to wherever you are playing, whether it's a handheld console, a PC, phone, home console. You just get a massive 150-inch virtual screen anywhere, anytime, for any game. Gaming on the go like a long-haul flight, you need the X-Reel 1. Neck starting to hurt from staring down at your handheld? We've all been there. You need an X-Reel 1. A screen as big as your wall. Instant plug and play with all of your devices via USB-C. Built-in audio with sound by Bose, anchoring your screen anywhere in space. It's awesome. It just works. Zero latency at 1080p full HD. These are what make X-Reel 1 a must-have. And we hear X-Reel 1 Pro is coming soon with an even bigger virtual screen. Hit our link below to get your X-Reel glasses today. There's nothing better than when a sponsor of Kinda Funny is something that we are legitimately obsessed with, and that is exactly the case here with X-Reel. You're gonna hear me talking about these forever. Go to kindafunny.com/Xreel. That's kindafunny.com/XREAL. I promise you, you are going to love these things. This episode's brought to you by Factor. Summer Game Fest is here. The Switch 2 is here. The sun is here. So many summer things are here. And the number one thing you don't want to be doing all summer, spending hours cooking inside. That's where Factor comes in. Factor's chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals are ready in just 2 minutes, taking the hassle out of eating well. We love Factor here at Kinda Funny, and Greg's often making and enjoying meals quick in between shows here in the studio. I just had a roasted garlic chicken, and I'm telling you, you would have loved it. Factor meals arrive fresh and ready to eat, perfect for any active lifestyle over summer and beyond. With 45 weekly menu options, you can pick gourmet meals that fit your summer gains and goals. Choose from options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more. Get started at factormeals.com/kindafunny50 off and use code kindafunny50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's kindafunny50 off at factormeals.com/kindafunny50 off for 50% off plus free shipping. Factormeals.com/kindafunny50 off.
Greg, what did you think?
Yeah, I'm not the fighting game guy, right? So when we heard an Invincible game, I was like so stoked. Then it was fight. I'm like, oh, okay. Sitting down and playing it, like I don't know what I'm doing. Obviously, you know what I mean. And I was sitting with the gameplay director or whatever his title was, so there was no chance for me to actually play somebody also who didn't know what they were doing. It's really pretty. I'm always going to be down for more Invincible. Anything. The blood of it was nice. I think the tag stuff was cool. I was playing on simplified controls, they said. So it was easy to call in support and get them in. They were teaching me the combos to get people to come in like that right there where the blue Invincible came in to help out Eve and stuff. But it was, cool. But I was so thankful you had played it ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's good, bad, or other. It was pretty and it was fighting and it was bloody, but it's that same thing. I was like, is there a story mode to this? Like, yeah, because I was like, Injustice, right? Like, yeah, we're gonna have that. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But I don't even know with that if I'd actually played.
See, that was one of the things that I didn't get clarification on. Forgot to ask. Also, one thing to shout out is that this is pre-alpha gameplay footage. I don't know if we're blocking it with our video, but they wanted us to shout that out. But yeah, that was one of the things I was mainly concerned about when I'm thinking about things that might bring it forward and things that might hold it back. Because as I'm playing this, I'm like, oh, this is something that I think the fighting game community is actually going to like a lot. Like I mentioned, it's not on that Street Fighter, not on that Mortal Kombat level of it, but I do think it's good enough to where you could see a lot of hardcore fighting game community get into it. But I was thinking about the Greg Millers of the world, people that I know might love Invincible, but might not love fighting games. And coming out of it, I was like, man, I wish I asked about a story mode, because Invincible as an IP, if you're putting out an Invincible game, you should have a story mode that does something with those characters that might get you interested.
Yeah, just like Injustice did, right? Where Injustice 1, I suffered through the entire thing to see the story.
Yeah. Do you think that is there any part from either of you that you think maybe they showed this off a little too early?
I wonder, because like it says 2026 in the trailer, I believe. I don't know if I believe it yet. Maybe once we get closer to it, like things start to ramp up, or maybe this is one of those games where they're like, all right, we launch it, there's bare bones, but we're going to improve it as it goes.
That's what I think. I see this coming out very early 2026 and then kind of just doing what it does.
Yeah. I honestly, part of me would like it to get delayed to 2027, because when we're talking about 2026, we're talking about 2XKO, and I believe Marvel, the fighting game that just got announced, got a 2026. Yeah, Tokon Fighting Souls. I believe that got a 2026 window as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think this game should come out the same year as those games, right? I think this game has a really good opportunity to capture an audience, but 3 tag fighting games in the same year, I think is not gonna do this thing the justice it deserves. And I think they have their heads on straight as far as like their approach to it. The combos felt fun. The combos kind of reminded me a little bit of Killer Instinct from 2013, right? The violence of it, I think, is novel in the way that like usually only Mortal Kombat is like the franchise, the fighting game franchise that has like the blood and the splatter and all that stuff. I like what they're doing here with that. Honestly, it reminds me, if we're talking about tiers of fighting games, right? I'll put this somewhere around that Fatal Fury, if not maybe even above Fatal Fury, as far as like how expensive or non-expensive or how budget it might feel. Like, I think there will be a community for this, but depending on how it gets placed, depending on where it falls, it could be a challenging thing.
Did you ever play Power Rangers Battle for the Grid?
No, I didn't.
Because like that, I keep thinking of that game, seeing this and like talking about it, even it being based on an IP that is like people like, but it's not, something that I think is going to bring in millions and millions of people. But Kev, can you bring up Power Rangers Battle for the Grid? Because I haven't seen gameplay of that in years, so I want to just make sure that I'm not like totally talking out of my ass here. Like, I think that it's fairly similar. I think this is more Marvel vs. Capcom tag fighty than that one is. But you saying that you'd put this potentially even above a Fatal Fury, that surprises me. Because
Really?
I know that is a lower end fighting game, but it's still at its core like a proven entity in this space, and like does every once in a while show up at an Evo or something.
Well, I think the reason, for me, I'm looking at it as presentation and how good it feels to play. And Fatal Fury, the latest one, City of the Wolves, that feels good to play and that looks good, but you can tell like it's like this is nowhere close to a Street Fighter kind of thing. I think from what I played of Invincible Versus, I think it looks better and it's going to play better than Fatal Fury, in my opinion, right? And like I played more even King of Fighters 15 than I played Fatal Fury. Invincible Versus has the stuff, and even as I'm looking at this, I totally understand where you're coming from, Tim. But I do think the
And this is
pedigree,
like 10 years ago as well. So.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I think the pedigree of the people working at the studio here might speak more towards like it just feels a bit more natural. It feels right. Fighting games in terms of game feel, oftentimes like it's very clear when a game doesn't have it. I think this game has it. Like, and another thing to mention too of some things it does, right? It has like they have devastation arenas, and they also have this thing called arena shifts, right? In quite a few of the areas, there's a stage that's like the city stage that you're playing at, and as the fights progress, you have shit getting destroyed in the background, and like the stage looks completely different from the beginning of the match versus the end of the match based off of like the destruction that happens. But then also midway through, they have special moves where if you do it, you can knock somebody all the way to the moon, and then all of a sudden, like you're playing on the moon kind of thing. Yeah, like they have those novel things. Now again, I think because of the IP, maybe that lessens like it does this weird thing where I think it concentrates like the amount of people that might be interested in an Invincible thing, but also then captures the people that are already into Invincible.
Totally.
And so I do think there's the double-edged sword, and that's probably where the Power Rangers thing comes from as far as, all right, we're talking about Invincible here, and you're turning that into a fighting game. But I also think the fighting game community, if you make something that plays really good, IP almost doesn't matter. Like IP can just be like kind of the flavoring to, oh man, no, I just want to play Invincible Versus because the game is fun.
Yeah. Cool stuff. I hope it has a story mode.
Yeah.
I wouldn't play through that.